Do the Chicago Bulls secretly have DeMar DeRozan put on the trade block and we don't know about it? What are they hiding from us? And are there extension talks being made that we don't know about as well? There's lots more to come on that in this episode of Bulls Digest. I'm your host, Joey Mercer, and let's get right into it. So yeah, of course, there's trade rumors that are looming for our star, DeMar DeRozan. Each year, teams underrate his value, and then the media says that he's overrated because he's getting older and he wasn't supposed to perform this way when he first signed with the Bulls. It was seen as a bad deal, but our front office did a very good job at getting him in there, and he has performed far above his career average in pretty well everything, and he's put up about 23 points per game over the past 3 seasons. Nothing you can say wrong with DeMar. That mid-range has been phenomenal. He's been great for us. He's a potential all-star this year as he was the former 2 years. And I think he could still have enough in the tank to play another couple of years, as we are just about a piece away from being a solid playoff team. So, this article originally came from Bleacher Report, which sparked my interest of the rumors of a trade to avoid contract drama put up by Bleacher Report. Um, it's said that Memphis, Atlanta, Detroit, Cleveland, and Minnesota are all teams that could use DeRozan at SF, but it remains to be seen if any of them have anything in return for Chicago. I don't know if they do either. Those teams have some young talent that they should be able to move, but I don't know that's the direction that the Bulls want to go. And the assets that these teams have that could help the Bulls go in the direction I feel like they're trying to go, as that's a fringe contender, or at least a really solid playoff team, are players that they're not going to be willing to move. And if we were to have to obtain them, we'd have to give up too much draft capital or too much of our core right now that we would not remain in at least the status that we're currently in today. So the top 5 trending NBA trade machine players right now just happen to be number 1 DeRozan, number 3 Lavine, and number 5 Caruso. A little bit worrisome there that people think that, of course, the team is falling apart this much after the players only meeting happening after opening night in the 20-point blowout loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I think that we're in a solid spot. It's just Lonzo Ball. If Lonzo Ball was back in the lineup right now, I think that we would be a playoff team right away. We'd be performing at that level, as the team really hasn't changed that much. We've just added Torrey Craig and Javon Carter to make the bench better. I feel like we do need to get a power forward and at least a point guard in Lonzo's absence. I think the reason they're not trading for a point guard is because Kobe White is a very capable bench point guard, and Lonzo's such a good starter and so important to the team that they don't want to clog up those positions if anybody's to come back. But we still do need a power forward regardless. Torrey Craig can't really get it done in the starting lineup, and Patrick Williams has not been that guy either. Either one of them can play the 3 or the 4 off the bench very well, so I think that's how they're better suited. So if we could go out to get a power forward somehow, not necessarily moving DeRozan, but if we did and got a power forward, I think that would be great to give Vooch some help as well, and it would make the team a near contender, or at least playoff team, right away. DeMar DeRozan did go on to say that he has no interest in requesting a trade, however. Control what you can control. It's always easy to run away or find an excuse or blame somebody else or whatever. Some people demand trades or demand certain things, and they still don't get what they want. For me, I just wake up and try to be the best I can that day and let it translate over. He also went on to say to KC Johnson, I feel like I wouldn't be able to lay down comfortably if I went somewhere and said, expletive, trade me. I'm tired of this. That's just not me. It's not who DeMar DeRozan is. He's really been a guy to stick it out. I can't remember him ever demanding a trade when he was on the Raptors, which he was there for about 10 seasons. Then he goes to the Spurs. They're kind of a mess of a team there at that point in time, as Duncan and Parker and Ginobili were gone. And he still stuck it out there. He turned into a different player. He got more assists. He couldn't shoot the 3 at all, and he's kind of shooting it the past couple of years. But DeMar DeRozan's not a guy to give up on a team. He will do whatever it takes to give the best version of himself to that team, and I got to say I commend him for that. DeMar is one of my favorite players in the league, and the trade rumors for him, let's hope he's got high value in some of those rumors, as we'll see a lot of those coming up now in the near future, I'm sure. And we might get into some more of those in the end of the week. We'll have to see as they pop up, of course. Next thing I want to talk about is an extension even going to happen? DeMar's 34 years old, and by the time the extension will even happen, the first year he'll be 35. How long will the extension be? Would it be a 2-year deal for years 35 and 36? That wouldn't be so bad. Would they overpay him and offer him 4 or 5 years by the time he's 38 or 39 and expect him to still be a great player and have that much bounce to be able to rise up above people and shoot the mid-range like he does so well? It's really hard to say. I don't really know. I think the best deal would be the 2-year deal, but I'm not sure where the Bulls' mind is at that current point in time. All I do know is Shams did say on FanDuel TV that they've been talking about an extension, but I'm told that the sides are far apart right now on multiple fronts. So that, once again, it doesn't seem like we're going to be offering him that extension. It leads me to believe that these trade rumors might be true. They might happen sooner than you think. I feel like it's more of a deadline deal to happen, but I do feel like this might be a deal that happens this season, and we might have to move on from our beloved DeMar DeRozan. Which leads me to this. Should the Bulls even trade DeMar? Is it worth what value you get back? Well, that's the thing. It really matters on what you get back. What are we going to get back for DeMar DeRozan? Is it going to be worth us trading our potential All-Star, who could be a potential All-Star next year, for maybe nothing? Or maybe it'll be a sell-high moment right now, as he might decline in the next couple seasons and not be worth near the value he is right now. Do we sell high, or are we going to sell too low, too early? It's hard to say. These are his stats that he's played with since he's been on the Bulls. 50% the past 2 years. First year shooting 20 a game from the field. A lot of volume right there. The 3-point percentage, you can deal with it. It's above the career average. It's a little bit below league average, but it's not on a ton of attempts. And it's enough that, he can hit one occasionally. The free throw percentage has been phenomenal at around 87%. 28 in that first year, 25 last year. I don't see that as him slowing down. I see that as Lavine taking a leap scoring-wise, which he did. And who's to say he wouldn't be an all-star this year? He has started the year on a bit of a bumpy road so far. He's down a little bit in everything, but I think that he can absolutely pick it up. He is getting a couple more steals right now. Once again, only 8 games into the season. Very early there to say if he is going to, get more steals than he ever has this season. But I do think he's going to pick up his play. I think it's too early to say to write off DeMar. And I think that he can still be a potential all-star this season, as Lavine has been streaky besides the 51-point game. The one thing that's worrisome about DeMar this year, though, is are the legs there for the mid-range jumper? I don't know. These are the 2023-24 pull-up shooting leaders so far on effective field goal percentage. Of course, we've got Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, Paul George, Jason Tatum, Stephen Curry. And there's Trae Young. Trae Young usually below for jump shooting. He shoots so deep and so often that it affects his percentage so highly. But when you look at a guy like DeMar being below him at 35.8%, which is so far off the leader, it's quite worrisome because DeMar does not shoot deep shots. He's not shooting a lot of threes, as we just mentioned while looking at his stats. He's a guy trying to get to the mid-range, the post fade, getting to the rim. Him shooting this low on pull-up shots so far this year is quite worrisome. That means he's shooting better at the rim, of course. He's still shooting solid from the free throw line, but is he settling for bad shots from the mid-range and on pull-ups in general? Maybe he is. I saw him shoot a couple of air balls last night, which is not like him, and maybe it's time that he doesn't have the legs to get up and shoot over people, and maybe it's time for him to try to slash a little bit more and stay a bit more grounded. Maybe the Bulls need to set him some more picks, and maybe they need to stop letting him have to create so much offense himself. He's still able to knock down that shot over people, but I'm not sure about the consistency to start the year. It just hasn't fallen as often as I've seen it in the past 2 seasons, and I hope that he can pick it up and get back on track to being the DeMar DeRozan that we all know and love. This has been your host, Joey Mercer. I can't wait to see you on the next episode of Bulls Digest as we cover the post game for the Orlando Magic tomorrow night. This is me, signing off. See you next time.